Good evening everyone, welcome to Le Mans. Currently we have GT3 qualifying going on, but in 2 minutes we drive out of the garage. I hope you guys are doing well, I hope stream is alive. A nice memory from yesterday. We are on to making a nice reel from the start from yesterday, because it was kind of glorious how we survived, or the way that Jesper drove. Oh, well that's a spin. Let's see if Kieran gets the pole. Kieran onto the pole. Sebastian still. Oh, that's live. I never know if this is in replay mode or not. Hello Mario. Hi Yo-Yo. So the cuts are strict. So in many corners it's like hard white line. It's very scary. Ooh, Sebastian got a pole by quite a margin. And many people, well, 3 guys had a cut lap. Yeah, we get 2 attempts. And I think we will all be on mediums. Mostly there is Bert on soft. But soft die very fast in these temperatures. So we will go on to mediums. And then it's out lap and 2 hot laps. And yeah, it's not easy with these cuts set to strict. Like it just invalidates everything. Anyway, one last thing. Actually, I have to click, drive out, and then long queue. And there is time anyway. I have the wrong color scheme on my steering wheel. Nope. Yes. Should be good. Thank you, Mark. No rain for quali. Yeah, the weather forecast is a bit weird. Like it's saying like between, I don't know, what was it, 5 and 20% chance for rain. As we have the caddy ahead drifting into me, but luckily we are going. Thank you Kostas, thank you Shiny. And that's already a off-track warning. I don't know what that is. I don't think I really touched any white line anywhere. Oh, it's 8 PM. I didn't really know what exactly is going to be the simulated start time of each session. Would be quite a plot twist if the race goes into the dark. Because at some point the softs become good. These mediums are funny. In all my testing, I got the impression that even if you push mediums like crazy for one hot lap, they still produce better delta in the second hot lap. Hi Vladislav. Many fans from 2019 incoming, right? Hi Peter. Why do I say Peter? It's Peter. Faster than Hamilton. Well, Hamilton is getting old. I'm getting old as well. I forgot to do one more thing. Load the correct dash. LMDH, there we go. Yeah, now tires are cold, that's not great. And there we go, quali session is on. Tires are deep frozen. We were just all going so slow on the outlap. Thank you CMB Racing for the sub. I lost like 2/10 I think in sector 1, but at least there were no cuts, so that's important. This curb is dead for cuts. Put 1 centimeter of the tire beyond it and it's already straight cut track. 23.3, not great. The tire temp is good now. That delta. The rear didn't want to cooperate, but still improving. I lost that much time in the first lap in turn 1. The tires were really deep frozen. I'm scared to carry speed through corners now, but I have to do it. Come on. 20-4. Matched my PB. I can only be very happy with this lap. It was a bit all over the place in some corners.
Järne magic. What a lap, dude.
Well, not bad from you either.
I lost front row in Porsches and I missed apex of the left hander twice.
Ooh.
And had to lift to not get into the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was... I expected a bit better banker lap at the start, and then I was worried, but cannot get anywhere if you're worried in the middle of quali lap, right? Quick fix on the setup. Setup should be good. Right, well, then let's get ready for a long race. Strategy shouldn't be too much of a problem because it's gonna be like 46 laps, which is like 11, 11, 12, 12 and 12 is easy. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, these sessions where you basically just have one real attempt, right, or like 1+1. You never know what's gonna happen. Sometimes you mess it up, sometimes it's great. But the car is nice. I really like how this setup behaves on this tire model, but the tire model is gonna get fixed because it allows way too much lateral load and overheating in high speed, and you guys saw what I did in the Porsche curves, like monumental. That's the best way I can tell what happened. The tire should have disintegrated, but yeah, anyway. Ooh, drops of rain. Interesting, that's a lot of rain. It's a lot of rain in it.
Where do you see the rain? 0% chance?
Top right in the
Oh
menu.
no. Ah.
Yeah. Oh, that's quite wet, right?
It will be quite wet in the end, yeah.
So the first weather is just for the start. So then the second one is first quarter, then the second quarter. But it's a bit delayed, like it's just about the half then that the rain starts, but the rain... It's gonna take some time for the rain to kick in, for the wetness to kick in. Do we go straight to wets? Because that's the time where we swap tires. That's a tricky one. Porsche will need a Porsche car. Well, I mean, I can take off the logo. Well, I cannot take off the wording, but yeah, BMW is nicer to me. I prefer BMW. Yeah, we will be doing some rain dance, but this is gonna be a difficult strategy. I guess keep the same tire and just wait for the rain. I don't know. We will see. For the first pit stop there will be no rain, so... will I win a race? Well, at some point I will win a race, more likely than not. About today, nobody knows. Ooh, I see. 4 AM from Korea. Well, thank you for the cheering. I'm worried and excited about that rain. But it's a long race before then even. Anyway, guys, let's have a nice one. Finally, for once, I didn't mess up turn 1. Cannot believe it. Avoided the cut, didn't avoid David's slipstream. do the VEC start. Yeah. Did Fabio die in the caddy? Oh no. Fabio was up there. Now he's not anymore. David is kicking himself for messing up that braking zone. Killed by Buono. Ah, not great to have that at the start of an endurance race. Slightly late apex. I think I will have to do a little bit of lift and coasting here and there to get to 12 and extend the first stints as long as possible for the rain. Drama with Michi. Oh no. I mean, any drama is surely less drama.
Yeah, so I
than...
got tapped from behind in turn 1 and then killed Rigoletto, I think.
Ah, copy.
And now Wano is in between, and I'm not sure what my pace is and if I have any damage or so.
Copy.
Can't repair anything on the MFD, but you
That's
never
good.
know.
Yeah, if he has nothing to repair, then it shouldn't really be affecting his pace. Is it so difficult to have a clean start to an endurance race? I mean, I say that after the crazy start at VEC yesterday, where 3/4 of grid were damaged after, well, before turn 1 already. Yesterday was
Wano will be
absolute
quick
madness.
in his LMH.
Let's see. But I'm not really pulling a gap, right? But I really want to do the 12 laps now. Oh, that's a lot under the target. Alright. Actually, this setup is the same as in quali. The only thing I changed was fuel and one click of cooling. Everything else is absolutely the same, but the way that I drive now is very different. Because as it stands, these tires are over forgiving, but still, like in the long run, if you push them like crazy through Porsche curves and if you lock up everywhere, it's gonna kill you, so you need to underdrive a bit. But in quali you have to send it, so the car actually behaves a lot nicer now. A lot less drama, especially on brakes and in high speed. Thought for a moment I'm not making that apex, but the front just bite it. Hi Picardo, yeah, it's tire temperatures in the corners. Red is I think 90 and then yellow is 100 or thereabout. Possibly a bit more. Maybe 95 and 105 or so. I have sleep on these things, on the grid brovs, but I don't really look at it. Or I very rarely look at it. Our pace looks good now that the tires are in the temperature window. Actually, guys, for the context, this is round 4 of 8 and I have missed round 3 as I was in the Netherlands. So I'm a bit down on points, right? And if I win this race, it's gonna... I'm gonna score more points because this is endurance. And previous 2 rounds were just 1 hour races. And then, therefore, counting less. Yeah, this is slip angle, and then here I have the temps. I mean, it's kind of very well correlated anyway. The temps are kind of nice because you can see the lockups as well. That normally one would see on the default HUD on the tire widget in LMU, but I have that turned off. And the clock is actually 1 PM, so it's not gonna be a night race. It was just an evening quali. Yeah, especially on a sim that you don't know fully yet, as we are still trying to understand LMU and so on, everything is helpful. Tishi. What does that mean? I mean, I know what it means in Slovenian, but I don't get the context. That's the first of many cuts, I suppose. Half a cut point, and we only get 5. It's a long race. Race pace is, I mean, it's a long lap, you know. And I've more likely than not done 1000, probably, no, I have done more than 1000. I have done like 3000 laps around here in RF2 because of Le Mans Virtual. So probably I have a bit of advantage there compared to most of people. That was very close to another cut on the exit. What's the temps? So, well, track is quite hot. Actually, clock is stuck at 13. Not sure if a session is set to static or if there is a bug. Stay green, thank you. Oof. Yeah, the slipstream, yeah, half a second at least. I think there is a little bit of effect at 6/10, but it's just milliseconds. Actually, slipstream is a bit. It's very basic. In LMU, it has to. It's. I don't know if it's still copy pasted from R factor 1 even. Supposedly, there is no way to make it effective above 1 second. But in real life, if you drive behind 2 or 3 cars, even if you're 5 seconds ahead, if you're going 330 on Mulsan, you will gain significantly just because of the wind and everything. Actually, tire temps are quite hot. Jamie, that's $1 million question. I mean, the main thing is to know where to shift, and then if the engine power band is very flat, you can easily get away with shifting much earlier and not really costing yourself much power, but consuming much less fuel. But then yeah, lift and coasting in the correct phases. Thank you for the sub. I mean, it's possible to set in the server that time scale is 0. But yeah, probably not intentional. I had to lift out of it. I never trust the fronts. I mean, probably now that I went aggressively on power, I could still make the exit, but I was fearing a cut. And then as soon as you lift, you just disrupt the car balance and then you lose even more time. Traffic time. Would be so good if I was able to clear all of them. That's not gonna happen. David will love it. Yeah, he gained easy second and a half there. And yeah, I am driving careful quite a bit in high speed especially, because the track temp is hot and the tires are hot, and for some reason on straights of Le Mans there is always a lot of heat. Not sure if that's realistic or not. But I mean, I suppose rubber rolling at 300 will produce some heat even if you're going straight. So I need to be careful because the tire will start to squeal very fast in high speed. And I'm hot, thank you. And about the pedals, it's Hoisenfeld sprints. About tire windows, I'm not fully sure, to be honest. I mean, mediums needs to be above 80, maybe between 80 and 100. Softs probably start overheating at 80. They are really like a night tire or like cold and slightly damp track tire. And then hards, no idea, because they are never good in LMU for some reason. David gained so much. I mean, 95, it depends, right? Depends on what kind of corners you have. If you have a lot of long corners where tire builds up, especially if it's high speed, then you will feel it a lot quicker, because the spikes are bigger in the tire temp. Well, about enjoying hards, it kind of makes sense. Generally, more often than not, the hards, even in RF2, were the tire which felt best. But always after finishing all the calculations, it was like, well, if you can get away with soft and medium strategy-wise, take soft or medium. But if the tire change is just too long, and you have to keep extending the stints and do maximized time on track on one set of tires, then hards maybe, but yeah. Feeling wise they were good, but pace wise not really. And yeah, I'm not really sure how the current situation is in LMU. I just remember one very hot race at Kota, where one guy took hards and absolutely died because they produced no pace even in hot conditions. that curb is not good. Well, traffic is traffic, right? It's always worse for me. And I have to complain about it at least one time. I wanted to complain yesterday as well, but the occasion was not correct for it. Yeah, after the December update, the high temps stopped being that bad for grip. They have overdone it. I think they will be fixing it soon. It's a bit deep, but it's alright. But yeah, I remember when the game was released, it was so difficult to get through the Porsche curves because of all the overheating. It was quite extreme. But now we can really lean onto the tires through the whole section in hot temps as well. But we would need some middle way. Looks like I race alone, I don't know. There is a big green Lambo in my rear view. Some laps more than other laps, but let's see. The pace feels good, the car feels good. It loves to lock up, but it loves to carry speed into the corners as well. This car is so funny because it feels as if it has ABS in some aspect. Because even if you're not locking up, having deep or like strong trail braking really kills your rotation. Still being able to set PBs. Thermal deck is high, but I mean it's Le Mans, there is not much wear. Ay. It was gripping more in quali. Now it feels like it's gonna grip, but the front just never finishes the corner. And I didn't really carry much speed into Tertre Rouge. Still too much. oil temp, yeah, actually oil temp 110 is fine. I think it's been set that, was it 130? Yeah, we started smoking at 130 at Interlagos. Water is still 87, so it's not bad. I would have to set the warning temps to higher, so it doesn't go red at 110. As I get the warning for battery back to 20 kilowatts. Alex, about the sausage in the final chicane, I tended to always take it, but it depends on the car. I think the Peugeot loves it, and then I think Caddy dies over it, and the BMW is just like kind of fine sometimes. But the corner just feels a lot better, and the next lap, like, you carry more speed if you avoid it. And then the last left apex, you can actually cut a lot before getting a cut. And then if you nail that, you get a really nice exit. So I prefer just doing it without sausages. But it's difficult because the car doesn't really respond well. I'm kind of skating in low speed, even though my setup is quite soft. Kind of a good corner, but I'm losing on the delta. Just not sure how to take it. I was too much on the apex curb, I suppose. It's a long race, Carlos. This championship has 8 races. 3 of them are 2 hours 40 as a bottom on the apex curb. And then 5 rounds are just 1 hour. So the opener at Spa was 240, then it was Interlagos and Sebring at 1 hour. This is 240. And then after this, I don't really know what we have. I think the final is Endurance, 240 at Bahrain. But the other two, I think one of them is Monza. Is it Kota and Monza? I would have to check. Do you mean by spacers, you mean packers? As they are called? If you mean that, then yes, you have to use them, especially for tracks like Spa and Le Mans. Otherwise you will be compromising the setup way too much. That's a bit wide, but just enough grip to make it. Now that's the worst to happen with BMW, like going into a corner like that Indianapolis hairpin. Because if you outbrake yourself a little bit, you have to keep braking for longer, and the car absolutely hates that. So at some point you just have to lift the brake, turn in and hope that it will make the corner. But I was not carrying that much speed, so still made it. Ah, that curb. No cut, nice. So one more lap of fuel. So about Packers. Basically, if you have a high downforce car, you will get squashed onto the ground at high speed. And what you need to do then is run stiffer springs. But if you stiffen your springs, you will lose your grip. And then if you have long straights like here, or like Eau Rouge type of situation at Spa, having Packers just, well, the car sits on them like here now, on the straight, it sits fully on the Packers. And then the springs are much softer, so I still have grip at low speed. But the car is not squashed onto the ground, it's not bottoming. But yeah, of course it's a big science what to do with it, because in high-speed corners you start touching the Packers, and sometimes that's good, sometimes that's very bad. You just have to figure out what you need. Monza, Fuji, Kota, then Bahrain, copy. And about nighttime, it looks like this is gonna be just a day race. I don't think they did times 10 with the time scale. Probably, yeah, the clock is bugged. It will just keep showing 13:00, so cannot even double check it. Anyway, box, full tank. No change. Yeah, you see with the Packers, like I think I touched them quite heavily when turning into Porsche curves, and that just creates a bit of a weird wobble, and it's very easy to overheat the tires then, like the car responds way too fast. Like it's just uncomfortable on the Porsche curves entry, but it's always a compromise. The stiffer car you have, the better it will feel, but then low speed will suffer. All right. Uh-oh. Unlucky. Well, that's a further second lost.
I'm not doing a nice jobby, but you are.
Well, the car feels good. I don't know. It's a bit of skatey fast at low speed, but it kind of grips. How are the lockups?
Bad.
Yeah, it's not easy to avoid a lockup.
I have worse tire wear than you. and I can't get the temperatures down. It's just a driving style thing.
Hmm.
From the 42 degrees track temp, I'm suffering a lot. Oof. Oh no.
Survived. Very safe release. I saw those Cadillacs going and I was like, well, they are still going straight. Yeah, it's Le Mans. It's Minecraft Ultimate. It's Le Mans Ultimate, the best sim. And David gained quite a bit of time. Guess I lost further second and a half with having to wait for the box and then having to wait to go out of the box. It is what it is. Ah, cheese people. I thought the cheese chapter from Road America is done, but guess not. I mean, probably a cheese advert wouldn't be too out of position here at Le Mans.
What TC are you running, if I may ask? I'm on 3.9. Like
7310.
Yeah, I'm 7.39. But I'm not sure if it's too aggressive.
And the rear is complaining a little bit in low speed exits.
Yep, same.
So why I'm managing battery? Basically, because I don't fully understand it yet. No, so one thing is that if it goes to 0, then you kind of have a problem, because at the pit stop you shut off the engine in LMDH cars and then you accelerate only on battery. So battery has to be sufficient for that, and I've not fully tested what happens if you like kind of have very little. And it's probably just good practice to keep it in mind. I mean, I could make it flash at me when it goes below 20 and just forget about it, but I have been too lazy to do it. It's just going red when it's too high. Uh-oh. David had to slow down a little bit as well, I think. But I just had to slow down and see if that car is gonna go straight across the track or not. And now I'm gonna get stuck behind the GT3.
I want to complain about traffic.
Don't talk about it, please. It's bad.
Wanted to go around the GT3 on Porsche entry. What does he do? Misses the apex by a car width. Legend.
Now it rotates so well. I don't know. Christos, if I switched from the McLaren in RF2 to McLaren in LMU, my brain would be exploding. But hypercar is different enough. I mean, yeah, that fuel efficiency thing. I mean, if you have the regen on max, I don't really know, like, if battery goes to 0, I mean, you still have the same regen, right? And you just burn it off quicker on the exits. So it shouldn't really change things in theory, except if there is some mapping onto the battery efficiency, making battery less efficient when it's lower or less charged, which I don't really know about. Ah, the middle of the road. Yeah, the road is kind of banked to the outside to get rid of water, right? But I think on the default setup it's not a problem. Oh, it's a bit wide. On the default setup it's not a problem because they are high up in the air normally. But when you start optimizing setup and making it closer and closer to the ground, you quickly start noticing a problem in the middle of the road. Not really sure how it is in real life. Just too early on the throttle. Already up to 1.25. The issue with the points of the cut points is that if you outbrake yourself once in the chicanes on Mulsan and cut apex, like the second apex, it's impossible to gain less than 2 whole cut points. I really don't want to find out. Yeah, I guess they have more clearance in real life. Yeah, we are kind of... I'm touching the ground quite a bit. And there is no wear on the plank or whatever it's on the bottom of the cars. Would be nice to have some kind of a simulation of that. Although, not sure how we would then be working on the setups, trying to find the optimal plank riding, so we don't get disqualified after the events or something. Yeah, plank wear was just like F1 thing for some time, right? Don't really know how it is in general motorsports with high downforce cars. LMP2 lost their Daytona. Oh. It's more and more difficult, that Terre Rouge corner. Although, I mean, I get more and more tempted to take more of the apex, but then it's just bottoming and bouncing and it's just uncomfortable. And it doesn't stop bouncing on the exit. What's the time there? You mean in the server? If you mean in the server, then I have no idea. Because the clock is still bugged at 13:00. If you mean what's the time here, it's 9 PM. Front tried to lock up a little bit. But yeah, that's on the initial release of LMU, that was much bigger of an issue. When front inside started to lock up like that, it was just a huge moment. More on some cars, like on Cadillac. Now we can kind of get away with it, lock up a little bit and play with that. "7 AM in Australia, well, that's very far away. It's already a Monday for you, Alex. So weird to think about that. Well, I hope you will have a nice Monday. Costas, it's I think estimation of how many laps to go, but I don't really know how it is calculating, because I have downloaded this new tiny pedal overlay version some days ago, and I've not removed that calculation yet. Do I dive? Of course I do. I got dived from much farther behind yesterday, several times. I feels better now that I didn't clip the whole curb on the apex. Ah yeah, that makes sense, Alex. I imagine it's very tricky if you want to do a lot of racing, and then most of the people are in the Europe, and it gets slightly frustrating, I imagine. Tutorial on tiny pedal. Yeah, I was thinking of it. There is just so many more things I want to do more than that, and I never really had time yet. And then it doesn't help when I go to Maastricht for Simformula Expo on the competition for 4 days, and then I come home, try to rest a bit, bring a flu with me, and then get absolutely destroyed for a whole week. At least my nose is good now, but I still feel pretty weak overall. It was such a strange flu. Michi got lucky that he didn't get it. championship. I think I'm either P3 or P4. Hi Anders, thank you for the sub. That was too much of a curb. But yeah, I won round 1 and then I was second in round 2. But round 1 was endurance, so more points. And then Michi won round 3 and he scored less in first and second round. I lost quite a bit, but it's not end of the world because it's 8 races. And because I skipped the sprint round. And these curbs. I don't ever have a consistent line through the forward chicanes. Forecast, cloudy and drizzle. I was just wondering where are all the clouds. It's kind of sunny still. I use 95% in BMW, but I see I could use 100% in some braking zones at the start, but you just have to aggressively lift off. And then have quite a big coast phase. The front inside really loves to lock up, and then if you have even small lockups, like micro lockups, you will just lose a lot of rotation. But yeah, maximum brake migration. Brake bias, I think I have 54.6. They changed the tire curve, so for half a year in LMU it was much... like the lockup was much more insane, much more aggressive. But they made the tires kind of more lenient, more forgiving, because they thought that the game is like too hard, and they wanted... I don't know, maybe they wanted to make it more like RF2, but they overdid it. So now you can really be aggressive, way too aggressive. Although honestly, it was a bit too harsh at the start, I think. That was a cut. Copy. Now, I would think it depends on what you want from your brake pedal. I think 100% is okay. It's like 95 is not too far from 100. And I think if you know what you're doing, then 100 is fine, but you really need to be careful with the lockups. But if you're the type of guy who just likes to smash the brake into every braking zone and then slowly trail off, then better even put it to 90 or I don't know, 92, 93. I mean, I'm not really watching my brake traces now, you guys can see it. But like if I spend quite some time at max, that means that I would make good use of even more brake force. I think I didn't even hit max now. But that braking zone is a bit tricky, because you're kind of turning in and the car is already on the packers, and then it's leaning a bit, and then you hit the brakes, and then the front right just lock ups like crazy. Yeah, I'm on 95% brake pressure here now. But well, it's low downforce and so on. Yeah, where are the clouds? Like I'm waiting for the rain. I'm waiting for the drizzle. But it will come after half distance. Wide. Let's take the sausage. I need to calculate what to do with the tires. If I'm a second of pace, and if I need 12 seconds to change tires, and the stint is 12 laps.
Rain or no rain?
Well, it says cloudy and drizzle forecast.
If no rain, we need to keep tires.
Yeah, just calculating now. How slower are we on the old? Well, the grip is good, right?
Grip is okay, balance is alright, but just pace is a second slower than before, I think. I don't know, like with you doing low 26s, and I think you did low 25s before. I think the double stint is just about right, but the triple is probably wrong. But we'd be fucked if we change tires and then the rain hits.
Rain will hit.
Is it? Because it says drizzle? think there was only an 11 or
Drizzle?
20% chance.
But it says drizzle, so drizzle is rain, right? Like there will be water, but
Likely, yeah.
hi Inex. Fabo is flying. Well, good to hear he's flying after his misfortune at the start. If I knew what drizzle means. 4 laps to go. Well, 8/10 off this lap. I mean, if it's 8/10 off, then I'm gonna lose 8 seconds. Well, second stint is 8 seconds, 8/10 off, then maybe third stint is even more off. But Delta is gonna be better and better. I mean, it's gonna be drizzle, and then like the last time slot was bigger raindrops. So I'm kind of expecting the track to be wet at some point. And then new tire has more thread, produces higher temperatures. I don't know. The safer bet is just to keep these tires, they are good enough. They will do the job, but yeah. The issue is that then David maybe changes the tire, starts gaining a second per lap, effectively gains the position. We just have to think what has the bigger probability. And looking at the rain, I think there is much bigger probability of it being actually wet at some point. But yeah, where are the clouds? There is still no clouds. But our air temp... yeah. That was mismanaged, and now I'm going into the gravel. That was terrible. No, my brain just shut off when I realized I'm not gonna make it on the entry into the kink. And then I just didn't know what to do. That was terrible choice of racing lines. It's just easy to stay behind and just make a normal move into the hairpin. But well, air temp affects track temp, although not as much as the sun position. And then track temp affects the grip quite a bit. David lost a lot of time. He also had a cut lap. I really shouldn't be complaining about the tires, they are good. I think I just... cloudy and light rain now. It's gonna be wet. Surely, at some point. Yeah. And the LMH cars are, of course, a lot better. Firstly, because they brake easier and better. And secondly, because at 190 they get 4-wheel drive. Which is kind of a good and a bad thing, because you are kind of understeering a bit when the front axle activates, if you have too much torque output. Well, power output.
So now the weather just says light clouds.
Well, forecast says cloudy and light rain.
Yeah, but we have like 4 minutes left in the segment, right?
Yeah, with the unknown transition phase between.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, new tires is kind of a safe bet. But look at the delta, like I'm... The lap times are not bad. Now that the fuel is going down, I cannot complain about grip. Still matching my PB delta, like, I don't know. With purple sector 3, I don't know, I don't want to change tires anymore. And that's 63% on worst tire. And despite kind of high core temps and therefore high thermal deg. Yeah, I mean, on full tank it will of course suddenly be 2 seconds slower, but... Remember, I would need I would need, well, if you assume it's gonna be wet last stint, I would need to be a second faster on the new tires. I don't think I can be a second faster on new tires now. Tire wear disappeared from the track. Yeah, that lockup, I don't get these BMW lockups. Like, I had an audible lockup, but it just slightly decreased the rotation. And if you have a very minimal lockup, it still kind of decreases the rotation same much. So you can kind of lock up quite a bit, and it's not much worse than locking up just a little bit. But overall it's still better to just not lock up. So one more lap. I'm not taking enough of the last left apex, but I'm scared to turn into too much. But David is struggling with pace much more. I just don't want to change tires and then have David stay on the old tires, and then the rain comes and suddenly the pace difference is gone and then I'm P2. It's better to just keep the advantage. FOV 26 degrees here in LMU. And I used the FOV calculator and the measurement tape, or like whatever that thing is called. So it's geometrically correct, and it feels very good. Issue is whenever I go to LAN events, and if we are unable or not allowed to change the FOV, like at Sim Formula, I'm absolutely destroyed because the FOV is like 2 times too high and then the brain cannot adjust. So I still have green delta, so I don't know, like at this rate I should just keep old tires and whatever happens happens, even if it doesn't rain. Box. Full tank, no change. All is good. No traffic for once as well. Ooh.
We'll get the drive-through, I guess. Slept in with 64.
You always say that. And you never get
This
it.
time it's real.
Nah, you will not get a drive-through. Yeah, this tire wear is just, I don't know, non-existent to some extent. I mean, grip is increasing, of course, when we are driving around and the rubber gets laid down. Let's see what others do. Yeah, one thing with the new tires is that there is still tire warmers turned on for Le Mans. So you don't lose as much when you change.
You're right. Thankfully. I
Nice.
already forgot about it.
David... What? Why did David lose?
So you did not change?
No, I did not. David lost... He only changed 2 tires, I think. Or he changed the tires and just put in 10 laps of fuel, because from now on we have 12 and 10 if it stays dry. It's a 49-inch screen, yes. But let's see the gap now. He changed 2 tires, okay. I mean, if I had to change, I would... I don't know what I would change, just the left side? It's kind of equal.
David has changed tires too, or did he just underfuel?
I think... I don't know, maybe he only changed 2. Or he maybe changed all 4, but underfueled a lot.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense to underfuel in these conditions, you just want to go as long as possible. Yeah, car is heavier. This Erne GUI is good. Well, today I feel really good with this car around here. The car just does everything I want, more or less. Not sure why. And then I have a nice 4-wheel drift into the Porsche curves.
I think he must have underfueled, because he gained like 4 odd seconds over me, and this doesn't just make sense. Especially since I probably carried more energy into the pits, unless I'm wrong.
Well, let's see how the gap develops. Thank you, Alessandro. Yeah, it's SimHub. It's all run through SimHub. It's a very powerful program, especially when you have nice telemetry output of RF2 or LMU. It's a bit more of a struggle on AC or ACC or iRacing because so many channels are just, well, locked. You cannot really unlock them. So, I mean, there is no... it's calculated channel, right? Like, you don't have in RF2 like slip angle, but you have lateral and longitudinal velocity for each tire, and you can calculate slip angle from those two with arc10. Probably it's not the most user-friendly thing, but I mean, if you are into slip angles and if you want to understand what's going on with it, then probably you can make it work. It's arcus tangens, so like tangent. I don't know how is it in English. That trigonometrical function. Well, I could share dashboard. You mean this one? I could, but it's like the kilowatts that I'm adjusting here. It's just logging the actual inputs on the buttons. So you would have to find out the naming of your inputs and so on. But it's very simple dash anyway. At some point I plan to just make a Discord, and then it's easier to answer all the questions, but I just didn't have time to go into that yet. $27.1. Let's see what David does. $26.7. Yeah, tiny pedal settings. I mean, that's kind of a preset as well. I could just share the ini file, or is it a JSON file? But I can show once. Maybe I can show actually in a stream. But yeah, a Discord channel would just make everything much easier.
I think David just underfueled. Let's see.
I'm reaching with 25.7, that's...
Can't be right since I took tires. Forget, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't get it.
My only idea when you overshot the pit box was so badly that you wouldn't do it.
Well, we are deep into the territory where it should start to rain. Oh, thank you for the sub, Alessandro. If new tires are now actually 1.4 faster, then I might be in trouble. But surely it will rain, right? Like before the race, in top right corner there were clouds with actual rain, so the rain has been calculated, it's already done. It's not getting calculated mid-race, it gets calculated before race. Always clipping that sausage just a little bit, just enough to kill my corner. I'm faster than David? What? So either he actually had a huge problem in the pit lane, or he had some traffic now in terrible spot on track. Well, now Michi is gaining 7 tenths only. I don't know, I mean tires can make it to the end easily.
You remember the frog jumping from a bridge?
Yeah?
My traffic life in a nutshell. I am furious.
I think in the first stint David gained like 5 seconds to me because of bad traffic and at the pit stop as well. I mean, he will probably have his own side and he had bad traffic as well, so...
Yeah, I guess it's the same for you, for you both guys, but I had 8 GTEs into the Porsches and 3 into Terre Rouge already. Like, I'm sick of it.
I didn't have it as bad, so... Poor Michi. It actually feels weird to only have... What did we have, 30 cars, 29 cars today? Because normally at Le Mans you have like 40 car grid or 50 car grid and there is a lot more traffic. The track is kind of empty with only 30 cars. And yeah, then the wet tire is only in question if it actually makes strategic sense. You have to make extra pit stop because of it. Then it's gonna be very difficult to get that time back. We only have 8 more laps to find out. Finally a solid 4th chicane. But the pace will not get better than low 27s for now. Yellow, I mean, yeah, yellow is not really, I don't know what's the optimal angle, like, the thing is it's all just aiding me with the feeling of what the car is doing. But then in some sims you have like actual optimal slip angle at which the tire produces the most grip, but it doesn't work like that, right? I mean, in high speed you get away with a lot less slip angle, and in low speed you can turn a lot more and scrub the tire a lot more and produce grip doing that without absolutely destroying the tire. So in theory you have like, I don't know, 3-4 degrees slip in high speed corners on some cars, and then in low speed in hairpins you go close to like 8 to 10 in some cases. Well, 10 is already quite a lot. Yeah, about camber, in theory, I guess it's kind of same question. Low speed versus high speed. But in LMU it's not properly working. Not sure why, but that's the one thing that's not simulated properly. So that's why we all have minimum or almost minimum.
Is it 46 or 45 laps?
I think 46. You mentioned 45 before, but I think it looks more like 46.
Mm.
But yeah, these boxes on the steering wheel, this is tire temps, so when it goes yellow, like my cut now, nice. When it goes yellow, it basically means it's already quite overheated. So then it's just letting me know that if I load the tire even more, that it's not gonna end well, but that it will end in just greater understeer or unpredictable car balance. Even though I can actually feel that through FFB anyway, but it's not that easy to feel. So it's just easier to have visual clue. I'm getting lucky with these Tertre Rouge traffics, right? I can always get to the inside.
With a 206 average, you have 16.9 laps to go from here on, so 17.
So 46.
Yeah. Like the pit stop will make it some 16.6 or whatever, but yeah. I think it's a 10 lap splash.
Yeah. Michi is flying on the new tire. I think in AC1 it was so basic that if you had a couple of equations running, you could actually calculate the actual tire grip at each point. You just had to take yeah, the slip angle, the camber, the, I don't know, loads from some lookup table, and you were actually to estimate or like actually have the grip itself displayed as a number. Which can be good enough to produce a solid sim, or a sim that feels kind of good. but it's very, very basic. Still light clouds, huh? That's what I appreciate a lot in RF2 and LMU, that just using real life car or vehicle dynamics knowledge gets you a long way. Like, you can do a really good setup. There are just some, well, there are always like specific things that you have to learn about how sim works. But like just knowing that softer car will produce more mechanical grip, but it will be trickier in high speed. And the rake and downforce versus ride height. And ARBs and like, I mean, thank you for this app, Hegedus. Like a lot of things in RF2 and LMU make sense. Like the way that I always developed setup was just deploy logic and vehicle dynamics and try to observe certain things in Motec. And then other things like differential and rear toe. Well, the final couple of anti-roll bar clicks and so on, that was then decided based on the actual lap time on track. But I think in other sims it's much more about doing countless laps and trying to find precise values just from the lap time alone. But I don't really know how people do it at top of iRacing esports, let's say, or ACC esports. Well, I heard about ACC esports that there are sometimes just like one specific value in some setup parameter that just has to be at some precise value because there is like a bug with it. And that when one hears that, one just loses a lot of motivation of trying to actually understand the sim. At some point I will have Discord running. Come on, don't give me track limits. Already at almost half. I mean, more than half a race is gone already, so I guess I'm good with the cuts. So if we have 2 laps less, I guess I can be safe and just take 16% less of virtual energy. Yeah, Carlos, that makes sense. But there are always these transition phases, and then it's impossible to know exactly. Like, it could be a very long transition of just a bit of drizzle. And Alessandro, I'm happy for you. Like, I enjoy learning LMU as well, although it's not that much of a... I mean, it's less of a learning curve for me, because the game is based on R Factor 2 with some physics improvements, which makes it easier for me, but also it's not a completely new experience. But then I'm still kind of sad about ACC. Like, I really try to enjoy it. I did a lot of races in it, in LFM, and like I did that endurance league with, like, when we were still with Burst Esport. But it just never felt correct. Like, I couldn't make myself really enjoy it. The tires just felt dead and the setup was weird. I didn't know what the car wants from me. I kept hearing that one just has to do a lot of laps to learn it. And that's just frustrating. Well, I guess same about iRacing. I wanted to enjoy them. But not sure if it's because RF2 just spoiled me with FFB and with everything. Even though RF2 has its own share of very broken things. With tires and with car physics and everything, but still so hard to make the transition and actually enjoy it. That shouldn't really be the case, right? I don't know. Rafa in FSR, well, let's see what happens with FSR. Everyone kind of waiting on any news. I might or might not know something, but have to see how it goes. Hi Nick, how is it going? Well, I don't even know how is it going. I think we are stuck on old tires with David, but Michi took new tires. He's flying. There is rain forecasted, but it's just not coming or something. It should be drizzling now, but it's not. The forecast was drizzle for this part of race, and then like heavy drizzle, or yeah, as it says, light rain for the end, but not much time to go. News is posted. There was an announcement. Oh, I have to check. I have to check. Yeah, Yo-Yo, exactly, like the top of iRacers and ACC guys, they go into RF2 or LMU and they are fast, and that really frustrates me. I'm happy for them. It makes sense because the sim is intuitive. Like it really tells you what you need to do with the car if you spend just a little bit time on it. So of course it makes sense that if you have full control over your car, that when you get flooded with the feeling, you're fast. But and then it kind of makes sense that if you're spoiled with a lot of details and feedback from the car and you go into other sim which doesn't have much of it, that you then struggle. You know, maybe I'm just bad and I'm just slow in other sims and that there is no external excuse for me. Although I did win and like I did that GT3 open race previous week in iRacing. I did get pole position and I did win, so in top split. So maybe my life is not over yet if for whatever reason LMU fails or whatever, but it's going too well to fail. Do I get stuck? Sorry. Track limits? No track limits. Track limits? No, no. Ah, Mr. Bale, my apologies. If he turned in, I might have just had a little bit of margin to stop the car without hitting him, but it was a bit of a late send. It's tricky because LMH is fast, or LMDH is fast, but GT3 has really good brakes, like it stops so fast, like you expect it to start braking early, but it just keeps it flat because of how short the braking distance it has. Anyway. Hi Firmino, thank you for the sub. Harder to call himself down when you come from RF2 to IRS. Yeah, it's hard. The thing that is the most confusing to me is the response of the front tires. Going with a GT3 car around the like Suzuka Sector 1, the front just like with the, what was I driving, the Acura or the Ferrari, it just bites immediately, like it starts responding immediately. There is no like turn in phase, it's just whenever you think of input, it's already melting the fronts. That's how it feels like. And then the Porsche is exactly the opposite. You turn in like crazy and there is absolutely nothing happening. It just melts my brain, and sometimes I have like a very stable input through the corner. Suddenly out of nowhere the rear just kicks out like something big happened, and it's so hard to understand. And yeah, probably I'm just overdriving the tire for what it needs, but yeah, that's I guess just how iRacing is. The FFB from RF2 and LMU. I know that many people say that the RF2 FFB is better than LMU, but to me it's the same. The only difference for me is that in RF2 tires can produce a lot more slip angle, so you get wider response. But I don't really lack anything from FFB and LMU. I do lack actual grip from the tire in some conditions, like in low speed it's very slippery and the front is not really biting, but that's not the FFB problem, that's just tire problem. Two laps to go of the penultimate stint. And where is the rain? I'm kind of in trouble. I mean, Michi has gained already like 10 seconds in 10 laps. And now I cannot change the tires because David will be ahead of me if he doesn't change tires. And then I might get stuck or it might start to rain. I heard that Murad enjoyed the sim a lot, so I was very happy to hear about it, but I didn't really listen to his explanation. Time and weather stopped. What if it's actually a bug, indeed? Yeah, we have to see after the race. I mean, now the fuel is going down and the Delta is happy about it. And it's difficult to imagine a light rain coming from this sky within half an hour. That's interesting to hear Naki Lauta. Because I kind of just have that kind of prejudice or whatever, like I always thought that RF2 has the superior physics over everything else, even though I knew that probably all the cars in RF2 are very broken in some aspect. But then for LMU they added a bit of physics so that the slip angles and overheating are accounted for. So it just feels a lot more what it should feel like. And then to read people actually saying that they go from different sims to LMU and they finally see the problems with other sims, like it's good to read that. I mean, it's always good to have own thoughts and feelings validated, right? But yeah. I just wish that like 10 or 20% of people from iRacing try LMU for a bit and start enjoying it so much that they significantly increase the player base even more.
David is in.
Interesting.
I'm furious.
Why?
Gap was 4.8 seconds. And if I didn't do that many mistakes, it would be 3 and I would gain track position. But let's see.
Maybe he's gonna change 2 tires again, I don't know. Probably not. Yeah, exactly.
The question is, can I keep up the pace differences?
You can.
Go up, we are pushing.
Yeah, if I knew that suddenly I have to change the sim, I mean I kind of have to try hard iRacing a little bit to some extent in the future months to do some special events.
But again, it makes no sense. I mean, obviously with him on the fueling by a lap he gains that 4 seconds. But then he would have had new tires all around, so I don't get the pace drop.
I'm overall very confused about what's going on.
I would be too, sitting 15 seconds in the lead.
I have time to get confused, right?
Copy. Exactly that.
But yeah, indeed, it's a hard thing to be comfy for many years in one sim and you know exactly what to do within it. And then change to another sim. I really hope that many people are forced to do that at some point. So I guess we will do whole race on one set of tires. No way around it. That was very close to crashing into the caddy ahead of me.
He's no Turnerino.
Yeah, the game was about to crash me into the car ahead, but he just drove away, I think. The gaps are too close. Well, I'm not... I mean... At the moment, I'm winning the only pro league in the game, right? So you could argue about it, but then if you have suddenly Marcel Cinčić and Joshua Rogers and Max Benecke and co joining here, it would suddenly be a lot more of a competition, you know? So it's hard to say. But glad that you can appreciate my stream. Thank you for the good feedback. Yeah, I cannot change new tires, it's just 10 laps to go. I was still decently fast. And then if I change 2 tires, I'm suddenly gonna be only like 4 seconds ahead of David. And then it should be raining now, like where is the rain? It's been on the forecast for the whole time. Michi jumped David. So, 10 laps to go. 12 seconds to go.
Gap is 4.2.
He must have changed 2 tires again. No, he... What? No, he didn't.
That's too little.
No, actually...
He came in 1 lap early and then he had like... I don't get it, he had a 4-second gap when he went in, now he's 8 seconds. But yeah, left hand side tires plus a lap more fuel. But actually that means at least 3 or 4 more seconds. I don't get it.
Bad forecast indeed, but I need to...
Maybe he was just plain empty. I had a bit of fuel left.
I was empty as well.
Copy.
He could have missed the box, but that's untypical and he wouldn't have done it 2 times in the race. But yeah, it's possible that the rain doesn't come. I'm just not sure why the graphic...
You haven't again not taken tires, right?
Yeah, I'm on the first ones.
You're really hoping for that rain, huh?
Not many laps to go, right?
Yeah.
be honest, I may be more dead if the rain actually comes now. And then my tire temps are gonna be much lower than Mitch's, because I have much less tire thread. And then I will die. But Mitch's tires are not fresh anymore, right? His second stint, and normally the grip drop off from first to second stint is the biggest, and then it kind of stabilizes. How's the rain in LMU? The physics is there, like everything is in place to make it really, really good, but they have not yet optimized it. So you have ability to make a proper wet line, but the tracks are not optimized for that. So you actually just have kind of a grip multiplier, and you have to stick on the racing line. I think it's slightly less grippy, the racing line, because of the real road or the rubber, but it's not enough less grippy. You don't really feel the lack of grip. And then other issue is that the evaporation of the rain is much too higher. Like you don't really get a drying line because the rain just so quickly evaporates. And the other thing is that there are visual puddles, which are just visual, and that's the worst thing. But yeah, I don't really know why they implemented that puddles. It kind of looks alright, but it kind of looks weird. And then when you're trying to read the grip from the track surface, and then you have puddles on track, you think that there is less grip, but it's just... I don't get it. Like, the whole sim is made about the fact that whatever you see is actually real, and then they make visual puddles on the top of that, but that's just old RF2 byproduct. Maybe there were at some point some people in the studio who decided that they have to do something visual, and then luckily got booted, or maybe somebody is from the studio is now listening to me and is getting angry with me for these words, but it is what it is. But still, it's good enough that it actually taught me how to drive the iRacing rain. Like, when I go to iRacing, I immediately understand what I have to do. I think iRacing feels a lot better in the wet than in the dry. I know that the tire is better in the wet, or like newer, but just the physics itself in iRacing, everything makes sense in the wet. Well, not everything, but a lot. Still, I think iRacing is too much about puddles and too little about where cars drive and so on. Yeah, 7310 TC. And yeah, the forecast, I mean, it still says a light rain, right? But I need to figure out what exactly the graphics say, because when the session moved to the race, at the top right, there was weather and there was rain for the second half of the race. But now it's just saying that there is light rain forecasted. Yeah, because of the RF2 guy who made the iRacing wet tire. Yeah, that's a good explanation, and that's actually the case. So there was a hypercar in the wall. Mr. Farinelli. There was wet weather at Sebring, right? But that was just in qualier, I think. Or was it in the race as well? I skipped Sebring, so I don't know, but... Well, maybe there is, like... There is sure a bug with the clock. Because it's still 1300. And then there is still the bug with the high grip, like the track, with the track rubber state, it never changes, even if it starts at low grip. They said that they slowed down the build-up of track rubber, and that kind of should explain it, but it doesn't explain it, because it never changes. So I think there are problems that have to be solved, and quite possibly the time scale of the race is just frozen in time. Overlay is called, well, this is part of the stock UI, but the non-stock thing is tiny pedal overlay. And thank you for the sub, much appreciated. And yeah, this tiny pedal overlay is really nice, very customizable. You can make it really tiny. And you can change the design and everything, the colors, the transparency, the font. There are so many features. Yeah, there is quite some things that went wrong today. Like, I found a bug as well when I was trying to join the server. It told me that the car is not there, like its car is not available or something. So I had to try again and do different kind of clicks to make it in the server. And then some other guys got some different error messages. But the traces are being sent, and the devs are kind of looking they are eager to look at what went wrong here and look at the traces and the logs, so that's good. Almost feels like this is kind of the unofficial, official league of LMU. Yeah, so Mitch is not gaining time anymore on me. The gap froze in time. Even the gap's frozen, everything is frozen.
Poor David has been screwed over by traffic big time now.
I guess we all had our own phase of bad traffic.
Yeah. I mean, some will say I mourned without reason again now sitting second, but...
It's understandable. But there is... Well, there is surely a guy looking at the race, like there is broadcast, there is people watching, but I don't think it's actually... There is actually a live steward, but... I mean... There are rare cases where you actually need live stewarding in sim racing like this.
Poor Grigoletto seems to be back and forth.
Yeah. He would have been up there with us.
I'm a bit scared of getting the penalty, although enough people said that I got a tap from behind. But effectively, because of the tap, I reacted and corrected, and then I slammed into the rear left of Grigoletto.
I will have to look at the replay many times. But yeah, for my championship hopes, this is really good. Like, it's the endurance event. Only one such remaining at the end of the season. So, bigger points. Just need to stay alive for 6.5 more laps. not like that. But to see how easy, like sometimes a front tire, sometimes a rear tire just snatch us a bit. Just have to always be underneath that limit. So much trickier with the BMW. What are the best cars in each classes? So at the moment it's basically more or less LMDH fest in the hypercars. Maybe at Sebring and at Portimao LMH cars like Ferrari and Toyota have some chances. Actually the Peugeots, I think both Peugeots are solid at Le Mans because they have low drag and are good on the straights, but they are terrible at acceleration. But hard to say, like the BMW is competitive, Lambo is competitive, Cadillac is good, Porsche is surely good as well. Like BOP is fine, but it's not like at the moment it's too good for LMDH cars because the tire is forgiving way more than it's been for the whole 24 year, and LMDH cars are just more difficult to drive, so they profited from the more forgiving tire. Should do a champ with the Peugeot. Yeah, I could do a champ with the Peugeot. But yeah, I mean, I said many times, like my favorite hypercars are the new Peugeot with the rear wing and the BMW. But seeing how the cars behave on track and like if you're in an LMH car and you drive behind like a BMW out of a corner, the BMW just pulls such a gap on acceleration that you're just hopeless. So I didn't want to have that kind of experience in this series, so just went with the BMW. I think Porsche is just not taken enough. Like I think it's good, but people aren't taking it much. I think it's a bit difficult to drive in some aspect. I always struggled in high speed with the Porsche. Never could really properly set it up for corners like Puchon at Spa or, well, ironically the Porsche curves at Le Mans. I always had either big understeer or a rear snap. There was nothing in between. But the pace should be good if you make the car work. It's a bit deep. And the tires will be good. There shouldn't be really too much of a cliff at any point. Hopefully. It's Samsung C49 HG, like kind of 5 years old model, ultra wide. I mean, it's I think it's the combination of the camera and the monitor that just fits very well together. But I think if I had good enough of a budget. I would maybe have gone for a better one. I mean, this one is 1080p vertical resolution and 144 refresh rate, but it's having a lot of that kind of ghosting, like when an object is moving around the track, it's leaving a lot of trace behind, and it's really noticeable sometimes. So maybe one day I would like more of a crisper picture. But it does its job flawlessly, to be honest. That's Nick, I don't really know how to answer that. They're trying to produce all the 24 content still. They don't have a lot of manpower. They're doing their best to put it out in time. But one would assume that they want to have everything ready as soon as possible, of course, and then when you have the actual 24 hours of Le Mans in June, that's always a good marketing opportunity, so I hope they have everything they need by then and actually have the game out of early access so they can actually fully push it. And then hopefully start working on the 25 content. And no, so until 190 kph, the difference is that the LMH cars produce produce additional power from the motors on the front axle. Well, above 190, right? And then LMDH just produce it on the rear axle all the time. But the power curve is locked, like you don't produce more power, it's not based on actually getting more extra power. Whatever you're pushing out from the battery, you're saving from the engine, and the total power cannot exceed a defined total at each RPM, like there is a curve that they have and they cannot exceed it. And it's being logged precisely, and if you exceed it, you get penalized. So I think it's more like, I don't know, more like a kind of car balance decision, or like whatever suspension you want to put on the car. Michi is flying. I have to have good traffic. One bad moment with traffic and it could be a problem in the last lap. But he has done such a good call with changing the tires. I really thought it's gonna rain, like I trusted it.
How flat out are you?
Yes.
Copy.
Well, I really hope they will be able to organize a virtual Le Mans 24 at some point. I mean, it's been part of their plans, right? But they have to have a game working. And then it's very interesting how much of a difference it makes to change the deploy on LMH from 150, which was on the old Peugeot, to 190, which is on all other cars. Because that 40 kph suddenly makes a lot of difference when it comes to traction. $26.5. Michi messed up or what? He lost a lot of time. Or maybe it's my plugin. Oh, the gap increased. I think he had a problem with the 4 chicanes. Which kind of saves me a little bit. He had a moment in the last chicane, oof. And then probably he had to kind of slow down to avoid a cut maybe. Lost the rear in entry. Well, I was looking at the gap and calculating, like, if he goes like that, we will be in the same piece of track in the last lap at the end. And then probably we will get some traffic sooner or later, although, well, next GT3 is 70 seconds ahead. That will be actually in the last lap. Slow and steady, yeah, I suppose. I mean, I think I did the correct choice. Like, strategy-wise, Michi gained a lot by changing the tires. But we didn't know, like, it seemed to me that it's surely going to rain. And then, if at any point it rained in the third stint, it would have been a big loss to change the tire, but Michi had nothing to lose, so of course he went for it. But the quadruple stint on mediums is a first for me. Yeah, he drives like he drives. He always overdrives a bit. And that many times works somehow. Like when you have too much of tire available, and when high temps are not punished as much, then it really suits him. Military aviation. I do, I admit. But maybe more like, again, the more into the past we go with it, the more interesting it gets. Yeah, overall I hope they fix the tires properly. Sooner rather than later. I think even the softs are too forgiving in high temps. I mean, we all qualified on mediums today, but I think softs wouldn't be too far off pace. But it really should not stand a chance or even half a lap in these temperatures at full push. And then hards should be a good tire, but yeah, they are not. And I don't know why. Maybe they are, but just nobody really tries them much. It was fun in RF2 because we tested them and like they were like 2/10 lower than mediums on raw pace in some cars. But it was still those 2/10 that just kept building over itself, and then if you started pushing hard to kind of keep the pace, the DEG was not much better, or yeah, not much better than on mediums, so it was just better to be on the faster tire and change it more often. So I think it's still the same situation here. SR-71, is that the stealth bomber or the reconnaissance one? Yeah, even in 50 plus they are not that great, yeah, indeed. I mean, so the way I look at it, I believe that the devs who work on the tires know exactly what the problems are and are trying their best to find the solutions. And they kind of know how to make solutions, but it's just such a complex topic and like you really need to research a lot what you're doing. But it just takes so much time and you make so many mistakes on the way to go as you learn, which is not great for a product which needs to sell well to gain time for development. Right, one lap to go. Mitch is 24.8. I can do a high 26. That should be sufficient. There will be one GT3.
Good job. Nice job keeping those tires happy.
One GT3 remaining.
Copy.
How can I underdrive the car? Well, turn less, brake less. It's simple in theory. Yeah, iOS, I don't really know the names. Like, I played a really nice game many years ago. It was kind of like a World War I game. what was it called, Wings of War or something like that. Played on a joystick, had some good fun, and I kind of appreciate flying for some time, but it's hard to have competition in flying, and I just wanted competition. It's going to rain after the race. Yeah, like in F1. When you get a race and then it starts to rain in the paddock or whatever. Yeah, I think the cliff on the tire is like 10% or so, or maybe 15. Of course, it depends on the temperatures on the thermal deck. As we go around the final traffic, yeah, grip is not good anymore anyway. So I'm happy that the race is over. One more lap would be already a problem. Anyway, there we go. Yes. Quadruple stint on mediums.
GG.
Well,
Nice drive.
nice push, Mitch. You did the greater strategic decision because the rain never came. Ooh.
I am briefly mourning about my self-inflicted mistakes in the first hour and a half, but apart from that, yes, good calls there.
I think there was a bug with time getting stuck, and then the weather got stuck, maybe. We will send the traces and the logs, and then we look at
Time
it.
getting stuck.
Yeah, it was at 13:00 for the whole race.
Oh.
Yeah, next... I mean,
Okay.
what did I want to say? Yesterday it was a bit easier for me because all I had to do was just survive. And today I actually had to do some good laps and some tire saving. But yeah, the 6 hours yesterday was a very weird one after half of the cars made a big pile of cars. Whatever. Wait, what? I showed it before. I can show it again. It's this one. What a nice screenshot, right? Anyway. Well, thank you guys again for the GGs and much appreciated for your staying here. I hope you enjoyed the race. Even though it was not much action, but I still had to drive the car. Yeah, modern art piece. I would print it and put it onto the wall. In the championship, I have to look at it. Maybe on the official broadcast on VMS YouTube channel there will be something, but otherwise, yeah, I have to look at it and calculate. Thank you, David. David, what happened to you? Did you lose time for some reason? Was there a mistake in the pit lane? Michi and I tied on points. That's good to hear. So I overcame the gap from missing a race. DCS. I want to try DCS sometime.
Have a look at turn 1.
We are looking.
The caddy number 3 is touching me ever so slightly on the rear wing, and that makes me lose the rear. And with that I kill Grigoletto. It looks like the finest of margins. Some would even say FSR 2018 would say there was no contact. But I think you see there is.
Oh, that's... I think that's the finest example of sticking your nose in while having really no sufficient overlap and then just causing problems to everybody else.
Yeah. Honestly, if he's just 5 centimeters behind and doesn't touch me, nothing ever happens. But because he gives me that nudge, I have to react on it. Like, you can see my steering the moment his splitter is on my rear wing, you see I opening the steering because of the impulse.
Yeah. I mean, the rulebook says front axle along with
Which it
rear,
wasn't.
yeah, which it wasn't, and then I mean, with experience,
I'm so
you'll,
sorry
yeah,
for Fabio though.
yeah, he would have a great race for sure. But like from cockpit, it always feels like you have more overlap. But with some experience, you start figuring out that if you go for that, it will always result in some kind of a contact. Yeah, I don't think that's any netcode. It's
Checking his onboard.
It's just plain old nudge.
You hear the contact sound though.
Yeah, there would be carbon flying in real life.
Yeah. So I should not get a penalty for that, but
no.
Never know.
It's just so unfortunate. I mean, Michi did kind of overreact.
David changed left side tires on the pit stop, but he never got a advantage from it.
That's weird though. It should be a bit of advantage, right?
Yeah.
Michi did overcorrect, but like when we get hit, like it's so hard and the tires are cold and the line is weird and you just don't know what to expect. So, but that is a big input.
I can't say if Fabio took damage from it, but he dropped so far behind. Poor guy.
It's the worst, like
it's just a case of being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Good move to reverse. Yeah, he couldn't get out of it. No, just the worst feeling where it's just like, come on. I mean, there is always some kind of contact in the first chicane at Le Mans for whatever reason. In real life as well, like they have 24-hour races and they just bin it into turn 1, like they're even worse in real life. What is going on there? That was lucky. It was lucky again. Oh, that's brave. But I mean, I guess he at this point he didn't care anymore. He just went for gaps because it's just so frustrating to get kicked out at turn 1 like that. Yeah, anyway, is there anything else I can do? Probably not. There is no DR and SR gain to be checked because it's a league race. Actually, let me check the first pit stop because that was slightly hairy. Oh, that's David. I'm behind. Well. Copy, James. Ah, the bug. Just had to wait for him, yeah. And then after the pit stop, those guys came. Yeah, like I saw them going by and I was like, well, I can floor it. But then he had to slot in, right? And that was closer than I wanted it to be. And then they got rotated into each other at the same time. Yeah, that would probably look better from Michi's replay, because my replay will not have the fidelity for them. That's not right, like that has to be fixed. as the server gets shut off. And this is this overlap on the rotating cars that has to be tidied up. Yeah, Le Mans is always like that. Anyway, guys, thank you again. Was a crazy weekend. 2 endurance wins, and now a bit of time to get some rest and to finally clean up my room. It's been a mess since the travel to Maastricht, and then with the flu that came back with me from the Netherlands. Good night, guys. See you next time. Thank you again for the subs and the likes and the chat. Much appreciated. Have a nice start to the week.